Hello everyone, welcome to the Birt Report Designer Training Part 1. My name is Vinay and I am going to be your host for this training session. So in this training we are going to learn about Birt Report Designer, how to create reports using Birt tool, which is one of the most widely used reporting tool, and it's a really very powerful tool when it comes to designing a report. Birt stands for Business Intelligence Report Tool. So let's see what we are going to cover in this training. So if I talk about the course objectives, then in this course we are going to build and customize the Birt reports. We'll understand the report architecture and also some of the best practices, which will include your report frameworks, where you are going to create certain libraries. Then report templates, which are one of the most powerful thing in the report designer. So these templates can be used in your different reports. So if we talk about the course agenda, so first we will go through the environment setup and also about the Birt report designer. Then we'll cover the report formatting, where we are going to format and do various formatting changes into our report. We'll see how grouping, aggregation and sorting works in this Birt report. We will learn how to create a cross tab. Then we will create some reports using the parameters, so we can have the parameterized reports. We'll also learn how to use charts in this Birt reports. In next step, we will see the various data sources used to create your report. Then we will go through the report architecture and then followed by best practices, where we will create libraries and templates. So the overall course structure is designed in a way where initially I will demonstrate the exercises wherever and if required, and then you can have the hands-on exercises provided to you in the training manuals. The information that we are going to provide you is going to be AIV Birt Report Developer Guide, which will be there with you. So let's talk about the Birt report design perspective. So when I talk about the Birt report designer, it's a perspective within the Eclipse, which is called as report design. So in a report perspective, you are going to design your reports using the various report elements. Then in report design perspective, you will see there are going to be various tools which will help you to design and control your report outputs, and can help you to add components and scripts within your reports. This perspective contains various views as well, so there are different views and different editor controls. So there are different views. So in this slide we can understand, we are going to understand there are different views. So this image shows that how you can open and reset a perspective. So from the windows, you can select the open perspective and click on others, and then you will get the list of the different perspectives. So now when you are into the report design perspective, you will notice that there are different views: the palette views, data explorer views, resource explorer views, navigator views and outline views. Here you can see that this is the layout editor. Then we have, so this is the entire screen called as editor, where we have the layout editor, we have master page editor, script editor and XML source editor. So whatever we perform within the layout will be so the Birt engine will convert everything to the XML source. So it will generate the XML source of that following report element or element within the report. It is strongly recommended not to make any changes into XML source unless and until you are an XML expert. Then you will have this palette and data explorer and resources explorer. So in palette you will have all the report items, elements which you can use into the report layout. In data explorer you can use the data explorer view to manage your data related activities such as data source, data set, data cubes, parameters or variables. And resource explorer is a shared resource library where you can use certain resources into different reports. Then we have navigator and outline view. So in navigator view you can manage your various resources within the projects and different projects, and you can easily navigate from one project to a different project, or from one training to, or from one resource to another resource. In the outline view, it will help you to select or identify the element selected in your report layout. In this property editors, you will find that you can do unnecessary changes to the element properties. Whatever the property selected, you can make the changes to their properties, where you can set their description, comments, user properties, events, and many other things. Here you can also have the problems and the console option. So where in problems you can see that all the problems, whatever the problems are found within the project, will be logged over there. You will have another option of errors. So whatever the errors will be there will be logged in that. And in this property editor you can see that it has mentioned the -report, which means this property editor is specifically for report. If a label is selected, then instead of report it will come to the label. So here is the list of various report elements which we are going to cover and which we can use within your reports, such as labels, text, dynamic text, data, image, grid, list, table, chart, and crosstab. So when I talk about the text and dynamic text, there is a big difference between both. So in a text, you set a defined length of a text, whereas in dynamic text, you allow user to get flexible length in the text area. So where you don't know the length of the text, such as description, you don't know what would be the length of the text. And when selected data, so you are going to fetch the data directly from the database. So this is the example of how you can create a data source using the predefined data sources. So here you get an option either to use a predefined data source, or you can create connection using your own data library. This we will cover in our later exercises. So now let's understand about the data source and the data set. So when we talk about the data source, it comes to like connecting a data source is a one-time activity where you will create a bridge between Eclipse or you can say between a report designer and your database to extract the data from your data source. Once the data source is there in place, you will create the data set to extract any specific set of information or any specific set of table within that data source. So what we are going to cover in this entire training, we will also see that how we can resize and move and close the views, we can reopen and change the view, how to restore a perspective, laying out report, we'll select the different report elements, and we'll also see the property editor. Previewing the report. So to preview the report, we have various options available. So when you go and click on the run, you will get the option run and view in as, either to view report in web viewer, doc, docx, HTML, ODS, ODT, PDF, PostScript, or any of the format. In whichever format you want, you can run this report. Now here comes our exercise number 1. So like where we are going to unzip the Birt training.zip folder, and we will import the project in the workspace. So let's see how to do that. So now we will start our exercise number 1, which is setting up of the Birt environment. To do that, first what we are going to do is we will extract the Birt training folder which we downloaded from our training link. So let's extract this to C drive. So now you will notice there is a Birt training folder within your C drive. So we have extracted this here. Now let's create a workspace folder in C drive. So we have created the workspace now, and now we will run the Eclipse. So here we are starting up with the Eclipse. Now here select the workspace which we recently created and select OK. So now this has been set as your default workspace. So whatever you will do will be updated in this workspace folder. So whenever you will open your Eclipse for the first time, you will see this welcome screen, and by default it will open into the Java perspective. So like if we close this, so this is by default it will open the Java perspective view. So in a Birt Eclipse you will have multiple views. So this is your one view in Java, that is the package explorer, and this is the entire perspective. So now how to change the perspective is, we'll go to the Windows, open perspective, and in case if you don't have the report design in this option, select the others. So now when you will go to the others, you will get the list of the available perspectives. So here is the list of various perspectives: Java, Java browsing, and if you notice that you have got 2 report design perspectives. So you should not get confused within these 2. So this above one, which has the red logo, is for the Jasper report design perspective, and this one is for the Birt report design perspective. So select OK over here, and you will see that now your perspective will change to the report design perspective. So earlier which was a Java perspective, so you can see this from here on the right top corner. You will notice that we have various views options available in this report design perspective. So this is the palette view, this is the data explorer view, this is the resource explorer view. So let's do one thing to understand this view. First let's go to the navigator view and do the right click in the empty area and select import. Then expand general, select existing projects into workspace, click next. So now in the select root directory we will browse the file, and what we are going to do is we will select this Birt training folder. We will select OK, and now in options we will select the checkbox copy projects into workspace. You must ensure that this Birt training path must be checked in the projects. Now let's click on the finish, and you will see that in navigator area you have got this Birt training project, and which you have got data and images which are preloaded. So this way we have successfully imported the existing project. So now let's understand this views. So there are various views. One is the palette view. So like if you select this, from the palettes you can have various so like here is the data explorer, here is the navigator view, and here you have the palette view, data explorer view, and the resource explorer view. So to understand it more better way, what we are going to do is we will create a report, and we will call this as Birt report, just to understand this. Finish. So now you can see that we have created one report, and it is there available in the Birt training navigator section. So when you click this, you can see that you have files. You have the palette view. In palette view you have the various elements, report items, or you can call them as elements, like labels, text, dynamic text, data, images, and many more. And the quick tools has the aggregation and the relative time period, which you are going to use in your reports. From the data explorer view, you can manage your anything related to data, like you can create your data source, your data sets, data cubes, your parameters, and you can set the variables from the data explorer. In the resource explorer, you will have the shared resources which can be used across the multiple reports. So you can have so whatever the resource explorer, you will have the resources which are in common and can be utilized across the project in other different reports as well. So when you click on the outline, this will give you to the better understanding of the elements present in the report or in the resource. And this is the layout. So this is the layout editor, and in this layout editor you can see that you have got the master page tab, where you can manage your master page, and the script, where you can write the script, and here you have the XML source. So one thing you have to keep in mind, that whatever you do in your layout, Birt engine will create a XML source of that particular element. So we strongly recommend not to make any changes into this XML source unless and until you are XML expert. So like if in layout, if you'll create any element using the palette, you just need to simple drag and drop to the layout, and you will be able to create that component. And when you click to the XML source, the code will be created in this XML source here. So this is your editor. Just below this editor you have the property editor. You can also track down all the problems. So whatever the problems will be there within the reports will get listed over here, and if you come across with any errors, they are going to be logged over here in this log section. So any changes here that you do to your any library item, you can reset them or restore them to default using this icon. This will be enabled only when there are any changes has been made. In case when you have multiple elements and complex reports, outline view helps you to select the particular element and make the changes into that. With this property editor, you can see that this will help you to understand that which element has been selected. So right now this says the property editor report. If I'll create a label over here, and if I'll click on this, this will say property editor label. So I can, and if I'll drop an image, so this will say image. So now you can see that from outline I can select the label. So this will change my selection to the label, and if I'll select the image from the outline, this will change my selection to the outline. So this way it becomes easy to select the elements using the outline view. And when to run the report, you can click on run, view the reports into various output formats as per the requirement. You can also change your perspective using this shortcut method. If you click on this, this will give you the various perspective options. You can switch between the perspectives using this recent perspective options from here. And in case if you want to clean your project, you can go to the project and you can use clean option. This way you will be able to clean your project. Whatever the changes you make into your reports or anything, you must save all those changes using the save icon. And if there are multiple elements open or multiple reports or multiple files are open, you can click on save all to save the changes into all of the files under the given perspective. We can even change this. So from the navigator view, we can see that we can even maximize this view or minimize this view. You can change the layout. Nice. Then minimize this. So you can, this way you can change the views. So here I have got this view. Here I will restore my navigator view and outline view. I can even change the position of this view. I can change it. I can resize this. So it's totally flexible. So let's delete this. Right click and delete. Okay. So this way we have successfully completed our exercise number 1.